Welcome to Not Everyone Should Have a Podcast, a podcast for the people and a space for all. So, before I set sail on this venture, I really want to just sit down, be solo, and kind of have a conversation with y'all and talk to you guys about where my vision stands for this venture, what I want to do with it, and what I see it becoming. So, I kind of noticed there was a gap in the market in the podcast space. I feel like podcasts tend to be a platform which only invite guests of high caliber. So perhaps people that have done some extraordinary work, or people that have some sort of recognition or fame, or they've have some crazy accomplishments. Um, and I really want to pave way for a different approach in the podcasting space. I really want to bring on guests that are regular people from all walks of life, because I want to push the narrative that no matter how regular a person is, they're bold. Everyone has unique character. Everyone has something unique to share, experiences to tell, you know, even wisdom to give perhaps. And I really want to open up a platform and a space for the people to really come on and just be themselves, be expressive as possible. And I just want it to be a product for the people. And for myself, it will really be good for me to improve my speaking abilities, to become a better listener, to become more socially aware, and to build my social skills. And I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited for what this could bring for me. Um, but in terms of creativity, I've been absent. I've been at a halt. There's been a lot of, you know, inconsistency from my character in terms of my creativity. This year, this year just started, but the previous year, I didn't really get up too much in my free time. Like, I didn't really pursue anything creative. The spark within me was like kind of held hostage a little. I I was fortunate enough to put out another product for my clothing brand, and honestly, it did well. You know, I can't complain. I sold in numerous countries, including France, Netherlands, Norway, the US, Mexico, a fair few places, and I'm proud of myself, genuinely. But I think I always strive to be better, and I always strive for more. So in that aspect, I really need to be better, to be brighter, to be bolder. And with my YouTube, um, I've been absent, and truth be told, the longer I've been away from YouTube, it feels like a part of my identity is being stripped away. It feels like I'm losing confidence as the days go by, purely because I haven't created a YouTube video. So best know once I've finished yapping, I'm gonna start filming because my soul yearns for it, and my mind yearns for it. But back to the podcast, like, I saw an interesting stat that 70% of podcasts don't get past episode 1, and then 90% don't get past episode 3. So to be in the top 1% of podcasts in the world, you only really need to publish 21 episodes of your podcast, which is fucking crazy to me. And it kind of showcases and highlights that people lack commitment. They lack commitment to their goals. They lack commitment to their endeavors. Like, I think people give up way too easily, and I think people um fall under the pressure of expectations, especially when it's a public thing they're trying to do. Like, when there's eyes watching you and there's people rooting for you and supporting you, you can feel the pressure sometimes, and I'm speaking from experience. But I really want to just say that just use that pressure to become something greater, if people are really counting on you to make it, or if people are really expecting you to be somebody, then be somebody, you know? Um, and I really want to use this platform right now, and especially with the first episode. This is the testing waters episode. So this is me testing the waters, trying to find my place in the creative space. You know, I'm really trying to find where I belong, who I am, what I can bring to the table. Because I see a lot of creators, and I'm like, I want to be one of them guys. You know, I want to be one of the best. In everything I do, I'm competitive. You know, I really want to be one of the greats and one of the best. I've always had that mindset. I've always been confident in myself, but I've never been able to translate it clearly, you know? And I think I was never able to translate how eager and how hungry I was because I was scared that people were gonna, you know, kind of consider me an egomaniac or consider me to be someone who is arrogant. I don't want to ever seem or come across as arrogant, but I think on the pursuit of purpose, and if you're working towards something, you have to be okay with the idea that sometimes people are gonna take what you do as distasteful. People are gonna be threatened by your existence and your work ethic and your aspirations, and that's perfectly fine. That's a reflection on them more than it is you. So I think this is a really key turning point for me. If I can really translate how arrogant I want to be, not in a toxic way, but just in a healthy way. I want to be one of the best. I want to be one of the greats. Not necessarily in the podcast space. This is just a kind of a platform for me to speak my mind and meet new people and translate new perspectives and hear new perspectives, you know. But I think in other creative spaces and in other endeavors in my life, I want to be one of the best to do it, you know. I don't want to settle for average. I don't want to settle for being mediocre. I want to settle for being the top percentage, you know. And I think I'm repeating myself here, so let me just shut the fuck up. Let me shut the fuck up. But yeah, I'm really intrigued and interested for what this year bestows for me. I hope there's a lot of goodness that comes within this year, and I'm remaining confident that there will be goodness this year. It feels kind of strange just talking to myself because I have to uphold some sort of professionalism and kind of conversation when there's no real feedback or input. But I hope you guys who are listening understand and appreciate that this podcast won't be a solo podcast. It will have guests and it will have genuine conversations. Some that may strike something in you. It may inspire you. It may resonate with you. However it affects you, I hope it is for the better, you know. And I'm in a place where I'm reaching out to people in my life who I think would be amazing guests, people who I really want their voice to be heard, you know, to have real, genuine, striking conversations with these people and put it on a public platform, you know. I even want to get my mother on this podcast. I want to have a real intimate conversation with her and see where that takes us and see what I learn about myself through that conversation. There's plenty of people in my life that I really want to be on this podcast. Some people right now are kind of shy to hop on, and I understand it. It is a scary thing. But ultimately, once you embrace scary moments, they become so much sweeter, you know? Facing your fears is one of the most beautiful things you can do in this life. And I think this year I really want to face my fears. And one of my biggest fears was coming across as an egomaniac or coming across arrogant because I didn't want people to hate me. But I've just said, like, I want to be one of the best. And I think I'm facing my fears by doing that, and I'm so proud of myself for it. But yeah, I'm in a real state of confliction. I want to be great. I want to post YouTube videos. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to continue putting out clothing stuff with the clothing brand because I really think it's a great way to express my character and my personality through that, and it's so cool when I see people wearing it, you know? It's a feeling that's kind of indescribable. It's euphoric per se. Um but yeah, what I'm trying to say here is that I'm conflicted because I want so much for myself. I set these high standards and big goals. I'm never afraid to dream big. But right now, life is so stagnant and I've been so lazy. I've not really put the necessary efforts or means to work towards these goals. So I'm just setting these big ass goals and these big dreams in my head, but I haven't really translated it well. And I really haven't put the drive and put the work in. And that will change, you know. I feel like just me even sitting here on a solo vibe, talking to y'all, that is something I wouldn't typically do or feel comfortable doing. But I like it right now. Right now, it may not sound great. I don't know how it's going to sound to a viewer. Maybe this is a bunch of baloney, but this is just testing the waters. I'm testing the waters. And I really want to just say that I want this podcast not to take off. I don't want this podcast to be huge. If it becomes huge, then so be it. It was meant to be. But I really want this podcast to serve as a space of unity. I really want this podcast to be a platform for everyone to feel welcomed at, to even tune into an episode and listen to it, to request to be a guest and be a guest, you know. And I want every guest to hop on here and feel like they own this shit. They own the podcast for the episode that they're filming for. I want them to pick the location. I want them to pick a location that resonates with them, that represents their character, represents their identity. Um, but yeah, like I'm really intrigued to where this could take, where this could go. I don't know what's fallen, but we keep it moving. Um, yeah, I just really wanted to come on here, explain my vision for the podcast, and I hope I've expressed and explained it well enough. And right now, I'm ambitious. I really want so much more for my life. And I'm tired of settling for complacency. So, going forward, I'm on a pursuit of purpose and nothing more, you know? Of course, there'll be room for friendship, there'll be room for romance and stuff like that. But right now, I'm hungry. You know, it feels like I've been on an empty belly, empty stomach for years. And I've just been surviving on the bare minimum. But right now, it's go time, you know? And I don't know how much the output of this podcast will be. If it will be an episode per week, per fortnight, per month. I guess it all depends on the guest, you know, because if everyone's too shy to hop on as a guest, I'm going to be struggling for content, you know. But I remain optimistic and enthusiastic that this will be a thing that would work, you know. People will want to hop on because people like to talk, you know. Connection is what makes us human, you know. We all want to feel connected. We all want to feel seen and heard. And I believe this platform is a place to be heard, to be seen authentically. You know, you don't have to put up on front. You don't have to be somebody you're not. You can be vulnerable. You can be as expressive as possible and not fear any judgment because this is a judgment-free zone. Um, yeah, and I hope everyone's new year has started off well. If not, you've got 11 more months to get shit sorted. So I think this is where I'm gonna check out. You may even listen to this and be like, this was a fucking pointless episode. But it's all good. You know, I feel like in my head, in my mind, I really needed to translate and explain certain stuff which I've been able to explain. So the job's done. You know, testing the waters. The waters have been tested. So going forward, if you want to be a guest, DM the podcast account, DM my personal accounts, and we'll make it work. Until then, this is Not Everyone Should Have a podcast for the people, a podcast for all. And I'm your host, Anis Arshad.